Well, you saw in that different intro, Lewis speaking to the world. And the fact is that it's the truth. We seem to get to all sorts of odd places and get responses from people that we've never ever heard of before. And one is Patagonia. There is somebody who regularly lets us know that they watch Mirador in Patagonia. So we are all over the world, not in huge, vast numbers yet. But I think I must tell you one exciting thing. That I had a conversation last night with an organization called TV Startup, which comes out of Abilene in Texas. Now, TV Startup has made deals with Roku, Amazon, Apple, and one more. I've forgotten what it is. All streaming operations. They TV Startup recruits television operations, television streamers to appear or to actually feed their television operations through each of these streaming entities, enterprises. What that means is that we will be available if we go, and it will be in August, September. We'll start to make arrangements in August. We will go to 175 million people. Every smart TV in the UK, every smart phone in the UK will be able to receive us. That in itself is significant. But we will then go to every country in the world. Now, I don't expect all entire 175 million people to come swinging to Mirador straight away. But it may mean that we will go from about 15 to 20,000 people and we could easily start with 100,000 people watching Mirador. But in discussing the strategy, TV Startup, who are knowledgeable about international broadcasting, which I must confess is we are not that knowledgeable, will take us by the hand and steer us to garnering a much bigger audience. As they pointed out, going the same route, Netflix went from 100,000 viewers to 1 billion. Can you imagine? little Mirador just being viewed by 100,000 to begin with. But we have demonstrated when people have been introduced to Mirador, several of them have said, "Oh, no, we stay with them." Not least of which is just yesterday. Somebody had caught us, had introduced us to their sister, and we've got Philip on. His picture hasn't come through yet, but Philip has rapidly taken on the role of program director and is doing a great job. He has no background in television at all. He's a barrister by trade, but doing a fantastic job. He's gone away again. He didn't like the look of my face this morning, but anyway, it will make all the difference towards the end of the year to Mirador, and that our hybrid product, which is to show local and international programs, all, I may say, all generated by us. We don't bring anything in and show it and sort of say, "Oh, that's ours." No, not a bit of it. It's all. This is what keeps us running around. Good morning, Philip.
Yeah, good morning, Keith. Well done for holding the fort. It's good to see you on good form, wearing your hat.
Go without the hat.
Well, you're a bit like Samson and his hair, aren't you?
Yes.
Take the hat away, and things are rather different.
Indeed, they are.
No, I just thought I've got a few minutes before the next delivery comes in, so I thought I'd just say hello to everybody.
Indeed.
And give you another voice. But so, who was that lovely lady who you had on earlier? She's obviously a carer.
Yes, Teresa. Actually, Teresa, I became first aware of because she watches Mirador from time to time.
She's Therese.
Yes.
She's Susie's contact, Therese.
Right.
And that explains why, yeah. So her dad was French.
Uh-huh.
Her dad was French, and she's the one that comes on with messages like, "I'm your number one fan."
That's right.
She's obviously got a crush on you.
Well, she's a lovely lady.
She just seems so kind, you know. And her dad's 90 years of age.
Yes. Yes, we'll try and get him on.
Yeah, I heard you say that. Yes, why not? Have you had any contact from Kit?
No, I called the school and had actually, I think I went into the school to ask. No, I called the school yesterday. I was in the school the first time I met him. And the very nice lady said she would contact him and let him know what was going on and to get him to give me a call. But he hasn't given me a call yet, so I haven't been able to ask the question that you're looking for. But I will have another go again today.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we both want it to happen. So then we've got Prido one Wednesday, Kit the next, then Prido, then Kit.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, yesterday, You were at home. Is that why we didn't see Liza?
No, Liza is taking it easy in coming back.
Yes.
And she had to go to the hospital the day before to have more tests. They want to make sure that she hasn't got pancreatic cancer.
I wondered that.
And as you well know, having suffered it, and I most certainly have many times, is a trip to the hospital takes it out of you.
Oh, I mean, the story she told about being admitted and the Armageddon with medics clambering over beds in the night, and I mean, she was highly complimentary about the caring of the staff, but it sounded a miserable experience.
Yeah.
And this is what Dan Poulter is going on about, the MP who's resigned. You know, he said this is the night shifts are the worst. You know, and they are unrecognisably bad from even a year or two ago. But anyway, one of the reasons I came on is that you mentioned one time recently about the police commissioner for Sussex. Do you remember?
Yes.
Well, they vote on Thursday, and there are 4 candidates. There's a Jamie Bennett, who is the Lib Dem candidate. He's a councillor in Rustington, which is not very far from me. There's a Tory called Katie Bourne. Now she's the incumbent.
That's right. She's the incumbent.
And the Greens have put a candidate up, inevitably. God knows what Harry would think of that. What would Harry think? You know, a Green Party police commissioner in Sussex. He'd have a breakdown. Yeah, Jonathan Kent for the Greens. Actually, and I've emailed you all of this, so at your leisure you can read all this, but he's a journalist and a former foreign correspondent. He reported for the BBC, Reuters, Newsweek, and National Public Radio. And then there's a Labour candidate, Paul Richards, and he lives in Eastbourne. So they are the candidates, Mr. Keith. I just thought I'd let you know.
Yes.
And I've sent you the email link so you can read the article yourself.
Well, our discussion the other day that there is something like 25 or 30 policemen in entirety in that area that was a troublesome area, and Katie Bourne has been boasting in her election material that she increased the number of policemen, but you know, I think I mentioned to you at the time that all police authorities massage the figures.
Of course they do.
Because recruiting policemen, even here, is not easy.
No.
In Northern Ireland, it is absolute dynamite. And it was all a political thing, because I actually wrote some copy for the advertising agency in Northern Ireland, in Belfast. And they readily admitted that the government target was, I don't know, it was 1,000 extra policemen. And they said they'll be lucky if they get 10.
I remember you mentioning this. Well, just to revisit the Barnum story that you alerted me to, what the article said was that at the time of that dispersal order, there were no police in Barnum, and there were only 39 uniformed officers on duty at that time in West Sussex, not just in Barnham. There was nobody in Barnham. Now, if that is accurate, as I, floated at the time with you, 39 uniformed cops only in West Sussex. I mean, that is scary.
Yes, it is. And actually, I am not a particular fan. I don't want to sound as if I'm electioneering for anybody or not. But I would say go for any one of the four other than Katie Bourne. When the commission was first set up and she was the first commissioner, we approached her and said, look, we want to do a crime show. I pointed out that I had hosted such a show in Northern Ireland and knew something about it, and so on and so forth. And she turned us down flat. She said she didn't think that it would be useful. So I am not a great fan of Katie Bourne's.
Well,
the others don't know any of them, to be quite honest with you.
No, they have three other choices.
Yeah.
They have three other choices, and again, I'm not trying to electioneer either, but my instincts say no to the Labour candidate. My instincts say a definite no to the Green man. So we're left with the Lib Dem.
Yeah. Well, the Lib Dem have got quite a strong candidate for MP. He's a very nice guy, and if anything, I would say, but he's a guy who really takes the job seriously. I would say that what he's got to learn to do is to get a pretty tough edge, because if you're a nice guy in Westminster, they knock you about left, right, and centre.
Yeah, they do, as in local politics. Now, hang on, we're not talking about the long-running chap who you know well, Baker. Is it Norman Baker?
Oh no, Norman will never go back into politics.
Oh, right.
He's told me that, and he says, actually, strange enough, he said, and it's partly because he thinks that he's finished his career in that particular area, and that he's having more fun and doing more use in lots of other things.
Good.
I mean, Norman was a very interesting character, because immediately after his end in politics, he went as an advisor to the Dalai Lama.
Good heavens!
Yes, which is quite an interesting road to hoe, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
The Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
Mind you, there's an astute man. Good God. The Dalai Lama.
No, I will say this publicly. Norman isn't everybody's cup of tea. But in all my life in journalism, and I've known hundreds of them, MPs in many countries, I've only ever known two honest and decent politicians who do try to do the best for their communities, and not for some hidden reason. One is a lady called Grace McCarthy, the late Grace McCarthy, who is the Deputy Prime Minister or Deputy Premier of British Columbia and the West Coast of Canada, who was a remarkable lady, an absolutely remarkable lady, and one of those people I was very proud to call a friend. And the other was Norman Baker.
Well, these are from you. These are great compliments. He probably isn't listening, and Mrs. McCarthy is no longer with us in the mortal world, anyway. But yeah, this is high praise.
Yeah. I think it is. I spent hours waiting for the weather to lift so I could get into a helicopter with the Duke of Edinburgh to go and take a look at some virgin territory in northern part of middle British Columbia, north of Vancouver, and she was almost solely responsible for getting that developed as a ski run and a resort and so on, and it hosted the Olympics.
Mm.
I mean that's the sort of thing she took virgin territory and got it to an Olympic site.
Can you remind me of the name?
Grace McCarthy.
No, the name of the venue.
Oh, Whistler Mountain.
That's right.
Yeah.
Also, it did the Winter Olympics.
That's right.
I remember that actually. So you were in a helicopter with her and Prince Philip.
Well, I was sitting there waiting. We never did get to take off, but that was the plan. The weather socked in. It is notorious in that part of the.
And how did you find Philip?
Sorry? Oh, crusty, but quite a sense of humour.
Yes.
I mean, you had to be on your guard because you weren't sure whether he was telling you off or actually pulling your leg.
Well, he was a naval man. He was a naval man
That's
from
right.
a very young age, and they are a bit like that. Speaking of the Edinburghs, of course, now it's Prince Edward who is the Duke of Edinburgh, and his wife Sophie is the Duchess. She's gone to the Ukraine at the moment. She's the first British royal, to visit Ukraine since the invasion. So she's over there representing the British monarchy, which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, the delivery I'm
Just
expecting
before you go and before is just to say, there is a Ukrainian lady serving coffee in Nero in Lewis, and
yes, you've said
we started to chat, and I stay up to date with what's happening in Ukraine through her, and she is very articulate, and I would imagine that in Ukraine she wouldn't be serving coffee in Nero, but obviously, I love people who accept their lot because of circumstance. I was going to be a queen, and suddenly here I am washing dishes because my country was taken over. I find people like that admirable, absolutely admirable.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. Now the delivery I was expecting has pulled up outside the door, so I need to go, Keith.
Okay, good.
One way or another, you'll see me tomorrow at 9:15.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So I need to know tomorrow by text or whatever whether you want me to do a completely new link for Prideaux and you, or whether we just join in with you.
Just join in with me,
Right.
because people are absolutely used to you being Prideaux's top banana, as it were. You know what a top banana is?
Oh God! If I tell him that, he'll wet himself. Anyway, see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye. Well, there we are. For those who don't know what a top banana is, a top banana is the straight man for a comedian. The man that gets all the laughs by getting the plate of pie in his face. Anyway, it's John and yes, John and Phil. An act worth grabbing tomorrow at 9 o'clock because they are amusing, but it's very serious business. Is how far should AI go? And John is an expert in AI and actually spends a lot of time researching all the new stuff that comes out. And if you want to know, they're the couple to watch. Now, it's 20 to 11. We got 5 more minutes or so. Because I had just come in this book. I'm just going to the Louisian. There's an article here, Lewis Speakers Festival. Having been founded after a conversation in Bill's in Lewis by Mark Rattray, the festival continues on its 12-year rise, thanks to the interest and support of local people. It says 2 websites, the website, is now viewed in over 50 countries, and BBC Southeast, BBC Radio Sussex, the Times Radio, and Mirador Television have lent an enormous amount of support. Please listen out for their interviews with speakers over the coming weeks. Now, we have tended to lose contact with Mark simply because, a bit like us, he has got so big and he tries to handle it himself, and that as a consequence, something has dropped by the wayside, and our relationship with Mark has been interrupted, if you like. We haven't got anybody on from this speakers festival, but there are some good speakers, interesting speakers. Gavin Esler. I worked vaguely with Gavin in Northern Ireland. Nigel Bigger on the Empire, Tom Baldwin, and Dennis McShane. Dennis McShane was working for the National Union of Journalists when I returned. And he'll discuss what they see as the turbulence of British politics and economics. So that's the Speakers Festival, and it is starting. I don't see it. Doesn't say. Oh, here we go. The new program for the Lewis Speakers Festival is out now for the 10th to the 12th of May this year. And you can go to www.lewisspeakersfestival, all one word, 2024. and www.lewisspeakersfestival.com for the full program and ticket details. So there you are, and that's quite important because it brings into Lewis people of international renown. It really does bring in first class speakers. So the fact that they are entering our terrain is enriches our life here, our background, but also our reputation. Now, I think I'm going to leave the rest of this and do a bit more tomorrow because there are lots of interesting things going on. Lots of interesting things going on, and we will ensure that we get them out to you as quickly as we can. We've missed one or two, but we're not here just to list events. We really are here to try to integrate them into our community, which is much more important than just saying this is on and that's on and the other is on. So if you want to know more, get a copy of the Louisian. I think it probably is going to, the new one will be coming out very soon. I think that's it. I think I will be good enough, back to enough health tomorrow to shrug off the Parkinson's, and I really must see if I can get this this lady. I'll have to look through it carefully. It is singing for Parkinson's, singing to do away with Parkinson's. I hope that I'm going to find it again. It's yes, I mean, must remember, quote, "Bonjour, Lewis, we have a treat for you." Well, I just can't. Oh, here we go. Deborah Skeen, a professional singer and private teacher, runs a choir at the House of Friendship called Sing to Beat Parkinson's and highlights the importance of music for mental and physical well-being. I'm going to drop by the House of Friendship and see if I can hunt this lady down, because I would like very much to have her on. That is music for a really good reason. It's okay. That's it for today. You see, you never know what's going to take place on. I didn't know when I opened up this morning what I was going to do. But we have our little family who pop in and say hello and always have something worthwhile to say. Right, y'all. Let's what should we do? Yes, well, we'll play the same one that we played going in.